This podcast is rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Some material may not be suitable for children.
Mission 250.
Hey, welcome to the Mission 250 Filmcast. You're going to see in this episode some audio that is not as good. It's going to be recorded from Skype. That's fine.
You're going to see some audio.
You're going to hear the audio.
Right.
Take some LSD, then you can see the audio, and it'll be fun.
I mean, you might see it, but you'd be fucking schizophrenic.
Yeah, or something.
Something wrong.
There's a lot of ways you can see it, so don't exclude those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that called?
We're very inclusive of people who can see sound.
Well, there's a term for people that have their sensory systems kind of wired a little different, where they might see sounds.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, like somatosensory or something. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, carry on, Denny, with that.
Carry on, Denny, with the seeing and the hearing.
So, yeah, there's going to be some audio, but what we're doing now is, I don't even know how to describe this. We took a break, and we're going to come back. We didn't finish this episode, so now we're going to finish the episode. It is 4 months after we
4 months later.
Yeah.
We've got
4 months later. We're going to put in the room of the movie.
I'm going to point a finger. I'm pointing at John on the screen right now. John got a little tired in the middle of this episode. Then we took a 4-month break. And now we're back. It's all John's fault.
That's because it was 3 hours. I mean, damn.
Look, it's hibernation. It was winter. It's
I'm old.
Pandemic
Do you know
time.
what? Since this is how old I'm getting. Since we were back, we did our last episode. Now I have to wear glasses.
Wow, that's how long it's been.
And that's how old
lost
I
his
am.
eyesight.
God only knows how many more gray hairs I have over the past 4 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I do have more gray hairs. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, it's totally noticeable. Every time I shave my head, like half of them on the side are gray. I'm like, oh no.
You're like, oh my God, it's time.
Yeah, it's happening.
I have savings. I'm going gray.
I can't see. I have to worry about an extra accessory. I've got 4 pairs of eyeglasses hidden around the house. I don't know where they are. I have to keep ordering more.
How frequently do you lose the remote, John?
I can't see them anymore.
Yeah, I can't.
Have you lost the remote in the past week, John?
Have I what?
Lost the remote?
I lose the remote all the time. That's just normal.
I lose the remote every day. Where's that fucking
and
Roku
I got a
remote?
little boy that likes to grab things and run and hide them.
That's more of an excuse.
At best. At worst, put them in the trash or the toilet.
The toilet. Well, no wonder why you got a million different pairs.
It's hilarious. He loves it. It's a great reaction when he does that because everybody's like, no. He's like, this is the best thing ever. Look at this. Look at what I'm doing to these people.
Don't ever let him watch Finding Nemo.
Oh, he's watched it. I don't think he was
He doesn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
You just can't ever have pet fish now. That's the only.
Don't throw down the toilet.
We're not ready for pet fish. My daughter Samantha, as part of maybe the pandemic, although she's went back to school this week, but she was she had a tissue that was a friend.
Oh wow!
Friends, huh?
We had a tissue. We had a lemon and a lime in the fridge. Those were her friends. She put them out of the. Just a little.
Oh, that's kind of sad, man. That makes me a little bit sad.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
She's a survivor. She's doing what she can to get by. It's actually quite impressive, but it is also it made us. She'd make the little tissue dance and do tricks.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna do this thing here. We're gonna time travel back 4 months into the past, guys. Ready?
Boom.
You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I guess
ready
I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be.
To finish this trilogy with a bang?
Sure.
Or a dull thud? Which one is it going to be? I'm curious to TC.
It's all up to TC.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, you know what?
Well, first of all, we're watching the 1999 movie Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, directed by George Lucas and written by George Lucas. The synopsis is 2 Jedis escape from a hostile blockade to find allies and come across a young boy who may bring balance to the Force, but the long-dormant Sith resurface to claim their original glory. Guys, we took a sidestep this week to watch the prequels because we figured we'd rather do the last movie justice by watching the first 3 of the trilogy.
Right,
it's your turn to go first.
So that's what we're doing here. Podcast? That what it is? Got it. Cool. Yeah, so I will start out with just sort of the reality of the situation.
Wait.
For me.
TC didn't get that joke at all, so I'm just going to explain that
No,
we're not watching.
I got it. It
you
wasn't
did.
funny.
It wasn't funny. Sometimes that's been funny. Other times it's not.
I was trying to segue.
Just trying to just move past. Let's pretend it didn't happen.
What movie did you watch this week?
Yeah, I watched The Room with some woman. I forget her name.
Oh, geez, you watch that movie every week? That's bad.
For the last 100-something episodes. I've just been watching The Room over and over and over.
It's with our time at this point. You know, we're sort of living the room.
It's like my room's better than her room, so I'm doing good right now.
But still.
So for the listeners out there, what they're trying to say is that when I give, feedback on a movie, it's basically them in a room stuck. They can't get out. There's nowhere out. There's nowhere to go. It's just garbage. But now this is what the reality of the situation is. I watched this at the end of a really long day, which was a mistake. I got about an hour and 10 minutes in, and I completely lost wanting to watch more. It was just, and it's because I realized that I was too tired to pick up all the little things that were going on. What I've realized in the 3 movies that we've watched now is that they've slowly begun to be more complex.
Yep.
Right. So the first one was simple. The second one was a little bit more complex. The third one is like, there's all this other shit going on. And I was not really ready for it. And I had watched it on a night where I had done, I had overexerted myself mentally, so I couldn't do it anymore. I actually just fell asleep. I ended up having to fall asleep. I was like, I'm too tired for this. I can't do this.
When?
And
as soon as the little teddy bear walked on screen, you just zonked out? Was that the
it was
moment?
about 20 minutes after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I realized that the fucking part I stopped at was like right before it starts to get good. You know what I mean? Like it was like I sat there. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is indicative of like every fucking situation in life, right? Like as my brother would say, you're always driving fucking 19 hours and you don't want to do the last hour. Like, can you just finish the fucking job? I wish I had just sat there and if I had lasted literally an extra 10 minutes, I would have gotten to that bridge scene where they were talking and he relays the information that he's his brother and blah blah blah. And then,
the bridge scene, yeah.
Han Solo comes out, I'm jealous and sad. Yeah. Right. I got to that scene and was just like, wait, but this is like the whole fucking movie led up to this stupid conversation. And I quit at,
like typical
11.
DC.
Yeah, typical me, right? Like giving up, being like, I'm fucking over it. Don't give a shit, whatever. And then realizing later, like, hey, maybe I should start giving a shit. So I got to that part and then, today and watched the rest of it. And I got to say, I can't believe I went 36 years not watching Star Wars.
You did it, dude. You did something nobody else has done. You've gone so far into your life and you've watched all 3 in a row in series at this point in your life.
And enjoyed it thoroughly, even when I quit, because it was too complex for me because I'm a simple man and I smash shit and I, pick things up, put them down or whatever.
So I don't want to get too broad for you, TC, but how do you think this movie compares to the other 2 in the series?
So this is a much more complex movie. This is a longer movie, right? It feels longer. I don't know why the edit's slower or what. They just seem to let things play out a little bit longer for the situational story.
I agree with that.
It was like I said, it was too much for me to handle on a Wednesday after, half of the week has gone by and I still got too much shit to do. And I'd already worked, 11 hours that day. I had anticipated watching the movie as like a relaxation method. Like, all right, well, today sucked. So like, maybe I'll be able to enjoy this as a movie and relax. That didn't happen. So I would say that that this is the reason why I brought up the reality in my sort of feedback, right? Yeah. Because the reality is this was a very difficult movie in comparison to the other 2, in my opinion. And my natural ability to just be like, fuck it, don't care is stronger than my ability to be like, well, let's just wait it out. Right. So like, but that speaks something to me because like, it doesn't, I don't get there very often where like I'm doing something intentionally and I quit because I'm like, I don't give a shit. It's like, I don't give a shit first. Then I'm just like, continue to not give a shit. Yeah. Right. Like, no, I just confirmed that the reason why I don't give a shit is because this is stupid. Right. That wasn't this. So I would say that this third movie is a much more complex movie with a lot more things to pay attention to. If you're not aware of the whole circumstantial story in general, right? Like, I think a lot of the people that are growing up now, right? They already like have a sort of like, if someone's a Star Wars fan and that's your father and you're a son or a daughter and you're watching it, right? Like they're like, well, you gotta understand this. This is the Wookiee. This is the thing. This is the thing. This is the little midget. Little people. This is the little person. This is the thing. This is the little thing. And all these things correlate together in these episodes. And you're like, all right, Dad, don't know what you're talking about. Fuck off. And then you watch it and you go, oh, cool. That makes sense. Cool, but for Dad. Me, like cool. I'm not fucking. I don't even have the cool dad. I got I got nobody talking to me. I'm just sitting here by myself. So I would say this. I recognized it the most that this was a very much more complex movie than the other 2, And I wish that I had sat there, note to self, try harder. But, this is like, I don't know. It's like the fucking climax of the whole story, right? Honestly, I don't even think we need to do any other movies. I'm starting to feel like I don't really want to watch the rest of them.
You're talking about expecting it like an easygoing movie, and I think the series does that to you, which is why some people differ in opinions a lot between the movies, because the first movie is such an easy watch. It's like you just it's so easy to flow through all of this parts and stuff, but like by the second one, it's easier to watch than this one, but it's like a little deeper.
Dark.
It's darker,
right, yeah.
But
I mean, the second one is like
there's many more elements to keep track of.
Yeah.
There's just more elements to keep track of. Period.
Yeah, so I think it's weird because you're expecting an easy watch because that's why you like the first one, but then every movie afterwards, it's like it's a different feeling entirely. Even though like the story follows the same thread, kind of, it's just they're totally different movies. So it's not your fault that that you were not expecting what you watched.
Guilty. I'm not feeling ashamed. I'm just feeling like that. Like for me, it resonated with me later of being like, oh, now I get why I tuned out. Right. Yeah. Like we talk about this all the time, right? Like you get to a certain point in life and like you can only handle so much. This is a complex movie. If you're not willing to sit there and watch it thoroughly and understand every little bit and piece, then you might lose parts of the story that are fucking invaluable. So I'm almost glad I split it up into two because I was able to rewind, right? And like kind of like, I don't know what you call it, but
so you paused it right before that bridge scene. Is what you're saying.
And then I rewound it like 35 minutes, 40 minutes and watched again, That alone speaks volumes, right? For me, like I don't do that shit. Like I couldn't care less about most things, like breathing. Don't care, But you have to do that. Dude, food, don't care. Food, why food if there's booze? Like doesn't compute. But like for me, even this movie, I was like, I need to rewind this 45 minutes. Like that's how good this fucking movie is. I am a fucking Star Wars dweeb now.
Nice.
And I'm going to have to accept that forever because now I realize it's not a bad thing. So
it's not.
I have to say, I really thoroughly enjoyed the way that we did this. I think that it was great to watch all three in a row. When I quit the movie the other night, I thought to myself, oh, maybe it's just I'm burnt out, like
it's been a lot.
I feel that too, and I watched it all the way through. John,
like when I finished the movie today, that wasn't the feeling I had. The feeling I had was I was burnt out on life. It wasn't the movie, like I was burnt out on life.
I mean,
it's a lot.
It's a lot,
and we know this stuff. Like we've seen it. Like Denny and I have seen it so many times. This is all old hat, sort of in a way.
But
too.
There's a feeling I get after watching the first one where I want to watch it. Either that one again or like follow the story more. In the second one, I want to see a conclusion. And after watching this one, I just feel like I'm done. Like not necessarily a good way. And I always kind of felt that way.
Watch the prequels. I'll tell you that.
Don't watch the prequels.
Watch them. I don't need to.
No,
I don't
need to.
You probably shouldn't.
The fact
unless
that it says prequel. Why would I need
origin
to go
story, man? Come on.
I don't need context. I figured it out already.
No, I know. You don't need context. And George Lucas, we can talk more about our segment. George Lucas is an idiot, which will come in later on in the podcast.
I think George Lucas is
and a genius.
And a genius.
Brilliant. And a transformative figure.
People,
right.
He's more of an idiot in this movie than he was in any of the other movies.
Yeah, but brilliant people have no fucking clue about regular people.
That's true.
That's the difference. And they just don't know.
And this one too,
they do is correlated separately from the norm, and that's why they're brilliant.
So we talk about how George Lucas is a weird, separate entity, kind of in the way he thinks about things. He had successfully brainwashed everybody that worked in this movie by the time this movie came out. But even that's
genius.
Kind of
by brainwashed.
Everybody agrees that his new direction with the special editions, and that like. I tried to look up when the commentaries were recorded. It might have been right when the special editions came out. So they might have been like promoting it or something. But like everybody was on board with all of the changes in this movie. And I'll tell you, man, the first one I thought was the worst culprit. They changed the end of this movie in the special editions, which is it's unacceptable, man. I don't.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's. I think it's pretty hard.
TC, you watched the despecialized. Sorry, John.
Yeah, I did.
So I didn't. I was late. We watched it last night, and I didn't have time to download the Harmy edition. But I had I got the 16 millimeter was up there still, so I actually saw it sort of in more of its original glory in a sense.
But I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, guys, I was listening to fucking JB's music the other night because, I'm just a sub story. And I was listening to our music and then I was listening to his music. And I'm like, I could fucking write some new shit to this. Right? Like, so there is like, I kind of understand, like, okay, like JB's never going to open that fucking track up again.
Yeah.
But like, you could.
But don't, dude. But don't. No, the
No,
point
but
is you
I
don't.
heard stuff
you move
that
on.
would
Sure.
really make that shit better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I heard stuff in my head that makes, and I think that's all he's thinking is it's irrelevant what we think. You know me, I hate this type of shit. I call bullshit on the creatives all the time.
Yeah.
But I had a moment where I realized that I was able to put it into some sort of perspective that I had. And I can see why he wants to try. Now, putting something out there that seems worse, that's where you and John came in. Like,
He
don't
thinks
do
it's
that.
better. He
Or like-
honestly thinks what he
Right.
does
I
is
know,
better.
but as
But
far
at
as
the end
like,
of the day, like, would
yeah.
you listen to fucking? You wouldn't do anything if me and John will tell you guys to fuck off. You'd be like, all right, cool, because you'd be like, it's not worth it. You guys are nuts, right? So like that.
But also,
that
once,
part of the
once
thing
you decide to
makes
hit
sense
like
too.
the publish button or whatever, that's it, man. That's fucking it.
Yeah.
And like
I
that's
don't think
most,
that's it.
well,
I don't know.
I don't know. It can vary. I mean, we know that like Ridley Scott's redoing of Blade Runner was the right thing in a sense. Like it was good. I mean, I'm glad that they have the final cut
Guys,
the way
I
they
work
do,
in a
right?
movie studio,
So-
and there is almost never a time where we deliver the series or the movie when it's supposed to be delivered, and then don't have revisions to follow up. It's just
But it's
there's a
different.
part
It's
of-
different when you actively change the way
no.
things.
I'm telling you,
end,
these
specifically.
creatives do that shit. Creatives do
Yeah,
that shit
yeah.
because their timelines that don't add up to their creative vision. And when the timelines do add up, finally, they're gonna go back and change it. That's
That,
what
so
they do.
TC, that is true, but at the same time, there has never been a blockbuster movie to this size or even close to this size. Like any movie that breaks the top 100 of gross like per year that has changed since its release. Like
Right,
this
but I would
movie has
argue
done.
that the cost
it-
of changing
right,
it would be
right.
too large to
It-
warrant it for
But
those
the
shitty
piece of
movies.
changing, the bit of
This
changing
movie's
is
different.
is one thing, but the other sort of like the other sort of like 1-2 punch here is not just changing it, but then not allowing the originals to exist.
Yeah,
That's-
that
I-
part
that's-
is fucked.
That is where
That's-
I will disagree with him.
Right,
You
right.
can't. You
I
can't make
don't care.
revisions and
Yeah.
not have the original
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah.
That's
So I
not
don't
fair.
care. I don't. If he wants
I'm
to,
with
he's,
that.
he's certainly right. And I think I can understand. I don't know if you'd call it brainwash. I mean, Lucas gave a lot of these people
I don't know if
their
they're lying.
careers.
Speculation.
That's true.
I think it's really hard. They're like, look, this was always his vision. If he wants to complete
It
that
wasn't
vision,
always his vision, though. He changed his mind all the time.
I know. I just mean like, but
You
he
can't-
was
you can't argue
he
that, is
was
what John
he
said.
was the one that was making those decisions all the time in terms of the direction it goes.
It's true.
And all that constantly, like involved in everything, moving everything ahead, whether it was sound production. I mean, again, he had these other geniuses in their own ways working with him.
Yeah, but he's
Technical
building
geniuses
the
all
house,
over the place.
and if
Yeah,
he wants to
yeah,
add an
no kidding,
addition,
right?
so be it.
Yeah, so I can see totally that it's just that restriction of the rest that then gets really worried. But he also was generally pretty good to the people he worked with too. I mean, that's
Everybody
kind of
likes
the other
him.
piece,
Well,
right?
except for Carrie Fisher. The actors did not like him.
Well,
I
Carrie,
feel like that should come
yeah.
in.
Well, I mean, there's some good quotes of it, but yeah, but
Carrie,
Carrie,
I think, was bitter
Carrie,
by the time this movie came out.
Yeah,
for the whole
Carrie
series.
and Harrison just seems to be sort of
This is Harrison.
grouchy,
Harrison
yeah.
Ford's worst role I think I've ever seen him in was in this
Oh, yeah.
movie. He's one of the best characters in the first two, and in this one,
Yeah.
he doesn't do anything. All he does is give little smirks and then is jealous. He's like a whiny little character.
A little
Like,
bit,
it's-
yeah.
He has a lot of those smirks, Denny. You
He
nailed
has
it.
so
Like,
many
you really-
smirks in this movie.
And he
Yeah.
has like, and it's like,
He
it's
does that thing
obvious
with half
too.
his mouth. It's like
Yeah.
one half is frowning, one half is smiling. He's like,
But it's
"Arr,
almost like
Harrison
they
Ford,
gave him
arr."
an action cue.
Yep.
Like smirk.
Well, I think,
You know
and
what I-
over and over again, Harrison wanted to be dead. He said in
Yep.
this film he wanted his character. I got when we get
He
to
was,
trivia.
he was the only one that didn't sign a 3-movie contract. Carrie
Right.
Fisher and Mark Hamill both signed like they were like, we'll be in all of them, sure. Harrison Ford was like, I'll read the script and then I'll decide. I don't want this like to dominate my career.
Right. He comes on the set. This was right after Raiders was released and doing quite well. Thank you. So,
You're welcome.
so he's like, yeah. But he's a movie star now too. I mean, and so he's opinionated, and we know that with like Blade Runner and stuff. He certainly is an opinionated actor.
Mhm.
So as well, but
To this day,
yeah,
outspoken
Yep.
against the acting industry. Strangely,
just
he
grouchy.
thinks acting is like a shitty career. He's a fucking
I mean,
weirdo.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. The thing that I would argue is that it is a shitty career. because it's ambiguous. It takes extreme talent to be a good actor. Period.
It also takes looks.
As long as you can, but as long as you can
yeah.
remember that little bit of it, then you're respecting that career.
Well, and not always. Look, I mean,
career,
it doesn't mean you have to be beautiful, but you do have to be like distinctive in some way. You know, I mean,
well,
so
you have
certainly.
To be
I mean, there's like great actors that don't fit the profile that are, you know.
But Harrison fits the profile, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Oh yeah. He's got the lips. He's got the face.
Gorgeous.
He's got the
He's
smirk.
Yeah,
He's
every
so-
angle. He's
like,
very happy on the
charismatic.
camera all the time.
I know.
Even as an
Yeah.
older man, he
No,
looks
he's-
great on the camera.
No,
Oh,
look,
he's-
I always put it this way, right? Like I'm very comfortable with myself. I know I like women. It's just what I prefer. But I look at him and I go, you son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be jealous of you till the end, motherfucker. Yeah.
The jealousy from other men is there.
The jealousy is larger than the sexual beast, you know, at this point. Yeah. So
yeah, in comparison, so TC, if you were I don't know if you feel that these movies can be ranked in terms of like your enjoyment of them. I think Denny puts it really well that they're very different.
I will argue this, that I would think that it's not as good as, say, a movie called The Room.
Well, it's no Hachi.
It's the gold standard at this point.
It's no Hachi. It's no Room.
I mean, there was not a dog anywhere. There was no loyal animal in this film.
Chewbacca is a
they
dog.
dressed him up as
Chewbacca is a
No,
dog.
he is not. He's more intelligent than that. Although Hachi was super intelligent too. So I don't know. Anyway.
Hachi was not intelligent. He was just dumb. He just sat there. And it doesn't
he
matter how
was
cold
dumb.
it is. He was just dumb.
He learned to go to the train station and he never unlearned it.
the master
Yeah, that's right.
can't leave.
He's dead, Hachi. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Go home, you
Hey, bud,
stupid
There's a
dog.
bowl of fucking food over here whenever you want it, though. I know you don't need it because you're waiting for your master, you fuck.
The real sad part of that movie was that nobody cared about that dog to take him to their house. They let him sit outside until he fucking died.
Yeah. A woman at work read me the riot act about that because she's a Hachi fanatic.
What?
Oh, really?
She was pissed. She was like, you really didn't do Hachi very good justice. I really love that movie. And she like went into the whole thing and I was just like, okay. So Star Wars is nowhere near as good as Hachi. That's what I'm
That's true.
understanding.
Oh, it's a fact. I
No,
think.
I think in comparison, to answer your question seriously, John, not be such a fucking idiot. I think that I was watching this movie this time. I feel like every single iteration, so the second and third was TV as I know it. I feel like we have been taking from Star Wars in perpetuity at this point.
Yep.
I mean, the quick cuts, the weird dissolves for comedic value.
The comedic editing throughout the series.
It is absolutely TV series 101. And
I love it how the joke lingers when they tell a joke, and then it like before you get the joke, it cuts to a new scene and like gives you an establishing shot, and then goes to a new scene. It does it all the time, and it's so fucking good.
And did you notice that they changed the wipe? So the wipe will come from below.
It goes
the corner, and the wipe will come.
it's a little clock wipe.
It's like every
like
single
playing with you.
it changes. So every single one's a little bit different. And they do that on purpose, right? So you're not getting used to it. But yeah, I'll tell you, I can see the edits that I've watched my whole life now from this movie. And like I said, I'm going to put on a t-shirt, Star Wars t-shirt. I'm going to wear it every day. I'm going to walk around outside in LA. Excuse me. Well, actually, well, if you know that if you watch Star Wars and you saw the bridge scene, well, that's all of television these days. And
I want to let the listeners know that when TC does that voice, he's actually pretending to push glasses up on his face.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before.
So is the glasses point.
Yeah.
So I'm fucked up already. So it's for the listeners. It's it's 12:45 p.m.
Right.
I'm already hammered. It's a Saturday. I've been up all night, maybe 2 nights. It's neither here nor there.
Okay.
I would do worse if I didn't like this movie as much as I do.
Yeah.
I just can't thank you guys enough for A, doing this podcast, B, forcing me to watch Star Wars, because I'm pretty sure I would have, out of spite, never watched Star Wars just to fucking prove it to everyone else that I didn't have to.
I believe it. I mean, you were already doing it.
Right. I was doing it successfully. Like, I'm not watching it. Fuck off.
Yeah. You have a 4-year investment where you can't say no. Like, you've watched The Room or whatever the fuck it's called. You watched Hachi. Yeah. You can't say no to Star Wars. You got to say yes.
I couldn't agree more.
John, thoughts? I want to talk about fucking I don't know if I want to talk about these movies comparatively. I don't know if that makes us sound like assholes or what. But
no, I think it's interesting to be like, because people wonder, it's an easy Star Wars question to rank them, right?
This is the easy third place.
I don't think you can rank them.
I think it's an easy third place rank.
Well, I do too, but I also think it's just they all at the same time they all fit together pretty well. Like as a set, like they each have their different sort of approach.
Yeah,
you've got like
not to mention, like you remember your first job, right? You were making jack shit for money. Now you're making good money. Things go linearly.
Things change. But again, reading about this, every time this was a fucking struggle for them, like in terms of the work and the production and everything going over budget.
I hate to break it to you guys, but every single production is a struggle.
I know. To me, I think that
this one actually went smoother than the other two.
Right. But it still was no picnic, right? I mean, there's out there trying to dig a hole in the sand going, hey, this isn't working very well.
Oh, dude.
Can't dig a big old hole in the
trivia
sand.
in this movie, by the way, is it's as good as the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's...
Did you read your half the book, John?
I got up to like 35%. So these are the books
for the listeners. Hold on, John. For the listeners, we'll just go throw this out there. I don't know how to read. So I get out of these.
Illiterate. He's illiterate. Yep.
I'm illiterate. So Timmy never learned how to read. So I get out of these situations, and thank God that John did the work.
Timmy, we just want your reactions,
Timmy was raised by a pack of sand raiders, and they don't know how to read either. They just go. They raise their sticks above their head.
Larry was there. Uncle Larry was there.
He was the odd one. Uncle Larry was the one that was a little weird, though. He said, "Come read a book with me," and you're like, "Yeah, I don't know, Uncle Larry."
Timmy got kicked out of the Sand Raiders pack. He made too much noise.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was going to, digress that far.
Oh, that's okay. But anyway, the books we're talking about are Rinsler's books. There's a making of Star Wars, the making of Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. These books are fantastic. So Denny and I split up the Return of the Jedi book.
And you got the digital version, and I got the hard copy version.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one you'd recommend more, because you have audio files in yours, and I have pictures of things on mine. And I took some pictures of some of the things in the book that I'm going to read you guys later that are awesome. Like there are things in this movie that just like you never see in trivia for movies anywhere else or anything close. Like there's nothing like it. It's awesome.
Yeah, these books are just so well written. I mean, if anybody is interested in Star Wars, you should. Again, the Kindle editions are like $15. I think the large hardbacks are like $45. What Denny has,
they're worth it. They're huge coffee table books. There's a lot of really good pictures in them.
Yeah.
Like, are they storyboard pictures or are they like pictures?
Oh, yeah,
everything. They have storyboard pictures. They have behind the scene things. They have concept drawings.
Art. Yeah,
it's fucking awesome.
For those out there that don't like that kind of shit, I came across an Ice Age art book that was fantastic. Looking at all the little drawings they did before they even made the movie. So I can imagine this being like 10,000 times better.
Ice Age is not a great movie, and it's still pretty good behind the scenes stuff.
Not only you get a lot of the
my
artwork.
point.
Yeah, exactly.
You get excerpts from scripts. You also there's a couple of transcripts of like writers' workshops where they're Lucas and the writer and the directors are workshopping the story. And there's I'll read some of that when we get to the trivia because it's awesome.
Dude, this personal
you get to actually hear them and can argue. Yeah, so it does a really good job.
Typewriters back then, right?
He does a really good job of interleaving all this stuff too. So you see like all of the studio or the negotiations that are going on with Fox. Because again, with this one, it was 2 years of negotiations before they reached their distribution deal with Fox for this one.
Which is insane. How are they having problems funding these movies? Like isn't that insane?
It's not really funding it. Really, it's for what are the terms?
Nothing to do with the money, guys.
It's just contracts. It's like they want to capitalize on the money.
What, when they own it, how the timeline is, how they can handle it. It has nothing to do with the cash.
Right. Because it's also it's like they're like, well, we could go somewhere else, but this is what are you guys?
John, they don't even say that stuff. It's we're only capable of handling this. Then the other person says, okay, well, we can handle this. Cool. You guys do that part. We'll do this part. And there's agreements. That's what the co-production is. It's like, we don't have the ability to handle this in a distribution deal that actually will work for one person.
But for them, too, is with Fox, it was always about they wanted to be able to put Star Wars on television. They wanted to have all these rights.
And then all the lawyers will say, well, what about the residuals later? Yeah. What about the residuals?
They wanted to argue about when could they start showing it on television, for example. And they're had to still late. They said you can't do that until like 1986.
You have
They're seeing
blackout
how
dates
much
until
money
this
like George is getting from all these tiny little things. Like, oh, in the future we'll have the rights to this thing that no one is thinking
they
about,
are
but we're going to
Things
get
like,
it.
well, or whether they
How
have the
does this
right,
benefit
they
our
have the right
business
to all the sequels
perpetuity?
after this one, and does the sequel include the right to remake any of these other movies? All of those-
George wrote into this one that you couldn't kill off any of the main characters.
Yeah,
That was part of like him signing the rights off, like the story
that
rights
was
to
his
somebody
lawyer
else.
saying,
that was
hey,
a really
interesting.
interesting. There's an interesting argument about that we'll get to trivia.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where
Well,
Lucas.
all right, so
and
we're going too far into
Rick are
trivia, John. I want to hear what you think about this
let's
movie.
talk about So this film, I loved this film best when I was a kid. I think this is, and I
Agreed.
think Lucas wanted this. This was the most kid pleasing part. Even though I know it's complex at the same time, there was so much action and characters and stuff there that was and this is kind of the direction Lucas goes in more sense when he gets to the prequels. Just sort of like stupid humor, like a lot of animals burping. There's at least 2 burp for joke scenes.
Wait,
Is
you don't
there?
like fart humor? Come on.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Me and Danny talk about
There's
poop.
like
Me and
there's
Danny
like
talk about poop all the time.
They do like one cutaway where you're watching the sand dunes and there's some lizard creature that snaps up a bug and then he burps. As after
That's
one,
funny,
after
John.
one flight date.
Why is
And
that?
Classic.
And then when Boba Fett gets eaten by the Sarlacc, there's a definite distinctive belch there. Pretty quick belch. You don't really just go and chomp belch.
Yeah,
You
but
kind
these
of
are
have wait a
nerds
while.
making
But,
the movie. Of course
I
they're
know.
gonna have shit.
right,
fucking-
but this kind of like more, and Lucas had just adopted a girl that was just born. I think maybe that had some influence too. I don't know.
We
if,
talked about that
if,
in the commentary.
the other influence may have been that I don't know if this got to him, but Empire was not being rewatched the way Star Wars was being rewatched.
Yeah, 'cause it's too much to fucking watch.
Well, it was not happy. It was not a happy movie, and
No,
it was
it was
not this
complex.
adventurous, happy movie. And I don't know
Slower.
if that got to him or not, but I think certainly when you get to when you get there, he wanted it to be happy. He wanted it to, and that wasn't his original conceptualization. And originally,
There
he
like
was.
You're saying
was
there was a
gonna-
discrepancy between the intention
Right.
versus
Well,
the reality of the
once
film
he,
as
and
it
once
came
he
out.
got up to the film, his intentions early on were to have it be darker. Luke was going to like maybe join the dark side for a while and massacre a bunch of stormtroopers. Han was going to die. Lucas was on board with that earlier on before he got to this film. But by the time he got
just tear the
film.
place up. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
for
kill
whatever
everybody.
reason, when he got to
love it.
this film, and maybe it was just his perspective had changed. Maybe again, there's some gripes about like, well, you just can't kill off. Harrison Ford quips at one point. Well, there's not much money in dead Han Solo figures, so just saying that you can't
You just
kill
pull the
off.
head off yourself. You already have the toy. You pull the head off.
Right. So,
How is he going to get residuals for the next 30 years if you kill him off?
right. I
That
don't
type
know.
of shit.
So I don't know if
Studio
that,
stuff.
or if George is just maybe as he gets older, he just wants it to be happier and wants to focus more on the good times.
Dude, he refocused. Like, he talked a lot about how he was like, these movies were always made for kids. And you're like, dude, that's not totally true. As
Kids?
much as,
There's no way.
no, this movie is
No
not for
kid
kids.
is following this
Especially
fucking story.
Empire Strikes
But
Back is not necessarily for
there's-
kids.
I
No,
counted
no.
4 different types of characters to track.
Right.
He's the
But-
most
but-
confusing
this one-
figure I've ever
Yeah.
listened to.
There was always this concept of this being a fairy tale, though,
He's
and but being a science fiction fantasy and being, so it's not necessarily for kids, but it has that magical sense about it where you just really there's a lot of moral to it or morals, and there's this sense of the magic to it, and in that sense,
there's good versus
like
evil. There's like very basic
yeah.
sort of
But-
right.
but
There's
yeah,
a lot
I
of
think-
like storytelling exposition. Like the exposition points of this movie are like a fairy tale, basically. Like they're telling you a story. It's all that's happening in those scenes.
It's like, right. And again, we've said this before, or they're saying,
the bridge scene, the fucking, pinnacle point of the movie is just
Yeah.
pure exposition.
so I think, as I've gotten older, I think I sort of, if I have to rank them, it would be like, I think Star Wars, Empire, then Return. Because I just
I
think,
agree with you there, John. That's
But-
that's my ranking too.
but I still think they fit well together anyway, because they each feel different. And that's kind of neat. It would be it wouldn't be as cool, or it would just be different if they all had that same tone all the way through, and they don't. And that I kind of like.
Yep.
Because even though
no, go ahead. I'll let you finish then.
that's okay.
No, I totally agree with you, John. There, like the fact that they all have different feelings. I think it might be, I don't know. Lord of the Rings has the same feeling throughout all 3 movies, and
Yes.
it works. So it's not necessarily like it needs to change to keep it interesting.
Right.
But that's
Uh,
only because Star Wars failed.
Well, Lord of the Rings was basically all one
Right.
movie. I mean,
They're
it was all
epics.
Yeah.
shot
Yeah, but
at
these
the
are
same
epics.
time.
They're comparing themselves to other epics.
Yeah.
But
No,
like,
the best, and also the best epics that have ever
like,
been
what
made.
can we not do
Right,
again, like that
Yeah.
Star Wars
Right.
did?
But these
I
were
would argue that that's why the ranking is so not important.
right. It's not, but it's
not.
still sort of fantastic the way it came about.
I don't know
because
though.
each
I have
time-
criticisms. I would never criticize the first two. This one I have criticisms of, and I'll talk about it. But like, there's things that like bother me in this one that I forgive in the other two. You know,
I agree. And even as I get older, things seem weird. Like where I'm at now. Like again, a little kid, I thought like slave Leia was cool or sexy, and now I'm just like, I really actually liked her character as the general, the commando, and this just seems like she's
hated doing that. She
well,
Carrie Fisher hated doing that.
can imagine
In the commentary track, I'm surprised they edited her in because they had like a bunch of people talking in the commentary, and she just like whenever she was on screen, she's like, notice how Princess Leia isn't talking. Notice how when she has the chain on her neck, she isn't talking. When Darth Vader is there, she'll talk back. Against the giant slug, she doesn't talk. Notice how Princess Leia isn't talking. And I'm like, holy shit, Carrie, you are mad, dude. You are mad.
Yeah. Well,
Right, but she's doing that because
sexualized in this film, and she
like
wasn't-
contemporary issues.
She
That's
wasn't
why
in the
she's doing
first
it.
two, and I think
because
that
of
it
If she
was
had the
something-
fucking balls to say that before, she should have said it before. As far as
she
I'm
was like
concerned.
20 or 21, or it's
Right. And she was fucking she
Happy
was
to be
fucking Han
working.
Solo. She wasn't thinking anything else but fucking
Sure.
orgasm.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Get the fuck outta here.
she was
These people are
again, having a
they're
good time.
so full of shit with that garbage. I can't stand that shit. They're so full of shit. Hindsight allows you to always have those opinions.
Good luck, John.
Shut the
Good
fuck
luck.
up.
TC's
I
on a
know.
fucking
I know.
rant.
He's on the
I'm on a
rant about the
tangent. I'm on a
industry.
tangent. I'm on a rant. I can't stand that.
They
When I
all
hear that
suck.
shit, I hate that
They
shit.
all suck.
Yeah, everyone sucks. Fucking shut up. No one cares.
She is interesting though. Like listening to her, she's interesting.
She's very entertaining to listen to. And it's not necessarily that she's wrong, but she also is extremely.
She's not wrong.
She's
Sometimes
complicit.
she's
You
wrong.
just don't need to bring it
She's a
up during the
hypocrite.
commentary.
She's
That's
a
what I'm
hypocrite,
saying.
is what she is.
No,
But,
no, she's not even a hypocrite. It's just there are like it's my boss tells me all the time. Tact, Terrence. Tact.
Tact.
That's all you gotta fucking do. That's all you gotta learn. You're great until tact, and you shit the bed at tact. That's what that is during a
It's a
commentary.
trait.
Don't bring that shit up during the commentary because we're not in political world right now. We're talking about the movie.
Dude,
It's not,
TC,
notice this.
I want to tell you what I did for you in terms of commentary and focusing things down. I took all of the audio things I took from everything that I watched, listened to, and read, and put them in one file. So we're gonna have a blast of all the sound shit.
Oh, good. I
good.
love the sound.
The sound
shit.
stuff is the best.
I know.
Literally
Bert.
the best.
Ben Burt. That's his name, right?
Ben Burt.
What was his?
Dude, I had numbers. Let me pull this up because this shocked me because listening to all the behind the scenes stuff in this entire series, it's Ben Burt, who's got to be one of the best sound designers of all time just for this series alone. And he did a lot of other stuff, but the budget of this movie, Return of the Jedi, was $43.3 million. Huge fucking budget. The budget for sound and editorial combined was $344,000 out of the $43 million budget. They got less than.
I hope Burt just got paid well.
Dude, they got nothing. They got nothing out of the budget. Nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing. But you know, but they don't need much either. So
I mean, listening to how he does it,
no, they don't.
that's true.
I'm telling you, they
But
don't.
it adds the
Oh,
most
no,
to the movie.
It's yeah. Even like Nikki was like when we were watching it, Nikki was like saying, well, "Look at even she noticed on this one the sound of the speeder bikes." She's like, "Holy cow!"
That scene is
who
the
did that?
best fucking scene in the movie.
Yeah,
that's the best scene in the movie.
Just the audio, and as far as the action, the audio. I know. I agree.
The audio makes
it is amazing.
The thing that I feel so disenfranchised from in the Hollywood world is that we're sitting here talking about this as fans, as it being important. And when you go to the inside world, audio is go fuck yourself, dude. Don't give a shit. No one cares, bro. Video is important. You're not. Get the fuck out of here. And it's all that's lost these days.
I don't know. I think the good movies that come out, the people. So every single good movie focuses on good audio. Every good movie has good audio.
On the recording of good audio.
No. Not even this movie. Not even this movie had
post-production of good audio.
That's this movie too, though. This movie did not use any of the audio. It used, they said 15%.
Yeah, but it's based off
dialogue.
A brilliant man that's been developing this thing for 3 movies. It's totally separate from like showing up on
But
Monday
they
and
focused on
finishing production on fucking next month.
But they knew that it was important.
Well, they knew it was, and also they just had this guy who like was all the time like saying, I've got great sounds for this. We're going to do this.
I think I'll
like, yeah, Ben, that sounds great. Let's do that.
That really bothers me, and it's what is turned me off from audio as I came out to LA, and we'll never work in audio again.
Be negative no matter what we say.
No, I'm not. The point is that.
Wait a minute. Yes, you are. It's okay. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not being negative. We are focusing on.
You're not?
No, I'm not. I'm being realistic. We're focusing on the positives of audio.
Negative? Okay.
So reality is the thing to blame because reality is negative. I'm just spouting reality is all I'm doing. Right?
Audio is.
I like how you're doing that.
I'm waiting.
TC. Oh yeah, I know. I'm just this is a new kind of pointing that I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen.
This is how George does
it.
All right,
camera.
You got these two little banthas over here. They're like this. They're little sausages.
I just wanted to point out your pointing style because I don't think I've ever seen it before. Where you've got like two index fingers up, one behind the other.
My fucking point.
Kind of like you've got like a vertical point in perspective, which I like.
It's lining up the shot. It's lining it up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right. Carry on.
I'm still waiting to fucking.
Let's keep interrupting TC because he's interrupting us. We might as well interrupt him.
If audio is what we're focusing on right now as something that's so great, right? Because we've talked about this in the podcast.
We're all pseudo musicians. We all know the point of how good audio is. It's important.
Right. It's a focus for the customer. The customer is us. We're watching movies. We see audio as something that is just it has to be as pristine as the video.
More so.
And I cannot stress upon you and the listeners enough that in Hollywood, sound is the lowest of the low.
No.
Nobody cares.
Keep talking. I'll be right back. I'm going to show you a picture.
No one cares about it until it's post. And in post, of course, you can remake stuff, but I'm telling you, some of that best stuff that happened in Star Wars Season 1 was live sound. Right? Like, they recorded it in the moment. They recorded the sounds.
Oh yeah, no, he was out there recording his trash dumpster.
Right. They don't do
whatever.
that shit anymore. And I don't care what anybody says. It's turned me off from working in sound forever.
Well, I think it too with all the. I imagine I'm just guessing too with all the stuff that's being done for streaming and where people may be watching this out of their TVs. It's not like you've got a great sound system anyway.
Loudness wars happened. Yep, loudness wars happened with music, and then that became like and we can just fucking make the same level for everything. And
I see a blurry set of lines.
Sorry, let me just read this to you. They had the line item budget for this movie, $43 million. You got $17 million for U.S. production, $15 million UK production, ILM special effects, $10 million, principal actors $2 million, supporting cast $900,000, camera crew $630,000, makeup and hair $2.2 million, construction $6 million, legal and professional. That's actually the lowest one, $23,000. It's not that much.
That's surprising.
Insurance $900,000. Sprocket Systems,
extra.
Which includes editorial and sound, $343,000. It includes rentals, equipment, Foley, and staff. Plus the editing, plus paying the sound designer. That's
not even close to an amount that would be someone that would be comfortable with.
That is
I'll give you some perspective. We made a mistake, and you can print this. It's fine. This is not a fucking...
Here comes an edit.
I'm not going to... Yeah, no, it's not an edit. We made a mistake.
If you're warning, no edit. That's an edit. That's
No. We made a mistake in an audio, and to fix it, it cost $10,000. And it was just to add in 10 seconds of dummy sound. Okay. 10 grand to add in 10 seconds of dummy sound per episode. Okay.
You're paying for time at that point though, right? Not just sound.
Yeah, right. That's my point. So like $300,000, you better get it all right. Sound.
Yep.
You fucking useless piece of shit. Right. Like, 'cause that's how they think of it. I wish that you guys would, I've been in the experience.
So he talked about, Ben Burt talked about in the commentary track how in the special editions, he had pages and pages of handwritten notes from George Lucas that he kept from this movie and other movies when the other two movies that were during the special edition remasters and remixes. He took those notes and actually included those in the special editions where he just didn't have time, where like he knew there was a hard stop and they weren't going to wait for him. He got like the most important portions of the movie. He got those done. But then there were like a bunch of things that Lucas wanted to include they couldn't get to just because of time.
Right. And money. I mean, the only thing that I will, tell myself to calm down with, and hopefully this will help for you too, is that the budget is just the budget from the beginning. There's a post budget.
Oh,
as well.
the budget in these movies explodes.
The
Because
budget
they know
is
that
like
it's going to
the
make it
idea.
back. They
Right.
know it's going to make it back. So like,
there's like multiple spends. Like for instance, the $10,000 that we made the mistake on, that just gets spent.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's not a part of the budget. So like at the end of the day, right? Like for all we know, the audio budget got inflated out after the fact, right? Like post production, there was a lot more budget that needed to be allocated. They just take it from other things. It's all the same funny money. Doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is audio ain't shit. Video is the only thing that matters. That's why the grips are very important, right? Lighting is important. The money gets spent on makeup. That makes sense.
Ben Burt was a grip for a day on set during the bridge scene. John, did you read about that?
No, what's that?
He was, I don't know what you call it. I don't know. Actually, do you call the guy who holds the boom a grip? Is that a thing?
Nope.
No.
Nope, that's not the grip. The grip is lights.
It's lights. Okay, so he was not grip. He was the guy who held
Holding
the boom.
the boom mic.
He's a boom.
Yeah, he was a boom guy.
Boom mic operator.
Yeah.
So he never did that before because he's a sound designer, not like a boom mic guy. But he did it
Yeah, it's
because
not
he was
the same
like,
thing.
it was the last of the series, and he's like, yeah, the guy offered it to him, and it was during the shot where Luke and Leia were like, they were talking on the bridge, and he almost ruined that shot. It was a 3-minute take,
Why did
bunch
they
of
make him the
cameras.
boom op? I don't get it.
because it was like a, hey, you worked in this movie,
Hey,
be the
you're
boom
here.
guy.
No one cares about
Yeah.
audio, right?
But he's like,
Hey,
10
proving my
seconds
point.
into them saying rolling or whatever, or action, he
Rolling.
was like, oh, I didn't hold this right. This is really tiring my arms out immediately. So he is like, the boom mic was dipping into the camera, and he's like, I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm gonna fuck this up.
Dude, you don't understand that
Poor Ben.
the day that I was able to hire a boom op was the best day of my life for sound. Having to mix and do boom op at the same time is excruciating pain. And so like the guy that's fucking recording,
You're mixing while you're operating?
yeah, that's standard now. Like I said, nobody cares about audio. You will be uncomfortable. Fuck off. You're gonna mix and do the audio recording all at once. Fucking asshole. Shut up. Get in there. No one cares. Video's important. You're not. Fuck off.
I always wondered why the boom operators didn't get one of those, like in Jaws when Quint has like that fishing rod with like the leather belt and you can strap yourself.
They're on.
Oh, really?
They're in the studios. So if you go to a soundstage, there's a shitload of audio devices that you can use that are like, stand related, right? Like they're movable. It's a whole thing. But when you're on location, you don't got shit. You got a fucking boom op. That's it. You got the guy holding the thing.
You got a boom op.
Yeah, and then nowadays you get the guy holding, like literally, guys. So I'll give you context into why I'm so annoyed by these things. Is like
we have the context, TC.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
But
you don't,
right.
because it's financial. It's financial. When I left Massachusetts, I was making $250 a day to do boom op and mixing at the same time. Okay, $250 a day. I came out here $120.
What? With LA prices, you should move back to Boston, dude. Jesus Christ.
$250 a day. Guess how many hours that was for?
8. Yeah.
Guess how many
12.
hours? 120.
12.
So
All right.
I
Is
came
this
out
sort
here.
of like
I had to
you're
work
just lucky to be here?
Yeah.
You're in
Yep,
Hollywood.
I had
That's
to work
Hollywood, dude.
4 more
Slave labor,
hours. I had to
for
work
sure.
4 more hours. I had to make less money, and I had to do double the work.
Yeah.
So fuck off when I say to anybody that
But
thinks
you're
that
in the
sound
business,
isn't-
dude. But you're in the real business.
Right. You know what I
You might
You know,
make it big one
right now?
day.
You
too,
might.
know.
Someone
I
might
don't
see
wanna
how
be-
good you are holding that pole up and be like, hey.
in the business is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like the point is it has ruined audio for me indefinitely. I
Dude,
will never
on that
work in
tangent,
sound,
you're speaking
period.
negatively. I've been from this list, like, my opinion of the industry has been going down and down with this list. Certain movies have brought it down large notches. This movie brings it up.
Yeah, it brings it up.
These movies make me feel good about the
because
industry.
the creative
Oh, yeah.
is the important part, and
Yeah.
the audio is part of the creative.
Yeah.
Right. It is.
That's the only reason.
whether-
As soon as
whether you
audio
get-
is
And
not
it's
part of the
also
creative, no one
flexing
cares.
every possibility you could have with a movie. Like it is special
Yeah, and that
effects,
died
it's sound,
30 years
it's
ago, Kenny.
creativity, it's fantasy, it's acting. It's
It died
amazing.
with this fucking movie.
No,
And
it's
it's
just Marvel
still by
movies
the
now,
seat of their
dude. It's
pants.
Marvel movies now.
I mean, it's what's again amazing is just by a lot of this is seat of their pants kind of stuff. I know that they're working hard and planning what they can, but they're also just like adapting and improvising and seeing like, oh shit, that didn't work. All right, oh yeah, that was a dumb idea to dig a hole in the desert. I mean, they just sort of like it's kind of it gives me a whole lot of respect that where some of these films that we really love, we don't see the day-to-day like process of it the way it's described in these books, and it is so much work.
The books
It's
are
Right,
so, and it's
John
so
and
many
Denny,
people. Like there's
I
a
wanna-
shot.
I
Did you see
wanna-
the shot of the Jabba the Hutt palace ship they built in the fucking desert in California, John?
yeah.
That
It's-
picture is insane. They said that it was the largest on-site set ever built. On-site meaning like not in a studio. I'll find it somewhere here.
And look, I'm sorry I'm being negative. I'm not.
Yeah,
In
it's
my
okay.
head, this is not negative stuff. For
All
me,
right.
in my head, this is the reality of the situation. The situation is positive. The situation is we're making great content. This negative is that audio gets fucking left behind. That's not a negative in general.
It's true. It's
speak.
totally true. No
It's
one thinks about it.
It's just reality of the way that the
There
world
are
works
movies where the
post
audio.
Star Wars.
There are movies
It's
like this where the
seriously.
audio, I think, is the best part of the movie, and people don't understand that it's the audio. It's the
don't even know.
score and and like the sound effects that make the
I
movie
think
as good as it is.
Right, and it's like these other roles like cinematography and stuff. And I think of I'm never gonna say his name right, but you know the movies that we love like Arrival and some of these movies where there is a
Denis
huge
Villeneuve?
emphasis. Yeah, where there's
You got to
in-
say it
in
was some French
Arrival-
stank on there, John. You got to.
Because like Arrival, that movie to me is really memorable because of the way the sound was done
Yep.
and the cinematography, but the sound
Blade
design
Runner,
in that movie
2049.
was, yeah.
The
Yep.
sound was incredible in that movie.
Well,
Yeah.
have you guys seen the movie Room? Unbelievable sound.
All right, here we
It's
go.
like it sounds like they're in a room.
I had to call it back just to lighten the mood. I want everyone to know, and the audience is concerned that, like, I do not intend to be negative in these things. I'm trying to bring context
Easy.
into what I've
Look at the screen.
experienced, and that's
Oh,
the end
don't
of
worry, dude.
No.
You've got
it. No, I know it's not.
yeah,
But this
yeah.
comes up a lot for me out here in LA.
Easy,
It
look at
comes
the
up a
screen.
lot, and
Easy.
it's like
Wow.
I'm not being negative. I
Okay.
love this.
Easy,
Look at the
screen.
picture.
I can barely see the picture, Denny. What are you doing here? If you're gonna fucking send it, like send me a print, for Christ's sake. I
All
can't.
right.
What is this? A cruise ship?
It's the job of
Yeah,
the
well,
Hutt
so it
Palace.
looks
They
like-
built it in the desert.
It looks like a Carnival cruise ship from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, they built it for this movie.
Right. Again. So now you guys are seeing what I'm saying about sound, right? No one cares.
Yeah.
Oh, so you went and you fucking recorded that sound with some like electrocuted thing? Fuck, cool, man. We're out in the desert. We're building a fucking Carnival cruise ship. Okay, bud. Have a good day, sir.
You still got there's you with your stick.
Ben, you good?
Yeah.
Ben, you good? Ben's good. Oh, yeah, you know Ben's
Oh,
good.
your arms getting tired.
Okay,
Arms are getting tired. Oh, I'm so sorry. We're out in the fucking desert building a car.
I want to read an autobiography of Ben because he sounds so cool. He like there was a moment in where they were in the San Francisco studio, I think it was, that there was like these storms and it started flooding. There's this quote in the book where Ben's like saying, well, I could have started to try to save some of the stuff that we had there, or I could make a documentary about the flood. So I decided to make a documentary about the flood. He walks out there and starts recording with the camera, taking pictures.
One's really difficult. One's super easy. Yeah.
But
But he's always looking forward too.
That's
Is the thing. He's not like he
That's
never rests on like what he's done before. He's always looking for new shit. Like he's always trying to discover new.
He seems to be
sounds.
enjoying it. Like that's what he's happy doing. Like he's,
right.
I think.
they'll let
um,
Terrence pontificate negatively for hours, and they're just gonna like go do their life. I
Well,
So,
it's
John,
interesting because
wait, John. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Let's do.
No.
Let's finish your review because I want to review it, and then I want to break
yeah.
so we can
Get
section it
into
off
all the stuff.
properly.
It's good. It's good.
I'm sorry,
then-
guys.
So
No
I'm-
worries.
Don't be sorry,
But
man.
we're
It's
getting
good.
towards the hour mark, so I'm just wanting to like focus.
Yeah,
this
I
a
know.
little bit.
So,
Yeah.
like,
So
Great.
let me say this. So wait, John. I just want to ask. Finish your review.
Yes, that's what
Here.
I'm going to do. Yeah. So to finish my review, there are things as an adult that I just sort of didn't think about as a kid, and maybe just more with the times, like how Leah's sexualized, and that makes me kind of sad because that's what I loved about her character in the first two films. And then also there's just like, it's like, oh, there's another Death Star. I mean, it just doesn't seem as interesting. It seems a little strange. And it's like, oh, it's an even more powerful Death Star. What? It can do more than destroy planets. What? Can it destroy two at once? I don't know.
No, it fires faster.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? That's
Yeah,
more
it's
powerful.
like it's
You just
it took
pop
a
'em
day.
off.
All right,
I think
God, I just have to give you that one. That one made me tickle. That tickled me right there. Can
It's
it
like a
destroy more than
six-shooter.
two planets? What the fuck is this thing gonna do? Right? Like, does it do a Keurig coffee too? I mean, shit. Starbucks
right.
shit.
Well, originally, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to trivia. So
well, actually, let me pause here for a minute.
See, the Keurig coffee actually came from the sound department. Anyways,
I didn't feel like there was as much interesting interaction between the characters in this one as there were in the previous two films.
Agreed.
I think it was more around action sequences.
Agreed.
So, I think that was the character stuff was more like for show. It's like, here's these Ewoks, aren't they cute? And so it was a little bit less, there were still kind of moments that I liked that they put in there that I thought were pretty darn cool, like that the Rancor has a trainer that sobs over him. I thought that was just a nice touch, that they just decide they're going to like put the little trainer in.
That was memorable to me as a kid when I watched that, because it gave me like, there's another side to the story here, which like there's a guy whose job is to train this thing, and it's not
right. That's his
he's
baby,
training
right?
it to fucking kill, but like he loves it,
Right. I love that. That's just a
was
really
weird.
cool little slice there. So certainly there are touches like that throughout here. And again,
too many.
I still love it.
I would say too many.
It's kind of a little distracting.
Too many
There's like all
touches.
these like, hey, wouldn't it be neat if we did this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be fair. That could be part of why the film seems.
And sorry for
just like all over.
talking while you're reviewing. Like I honestly
trying
don't
to
know
wrap up
why.
here.
I don't know. I'm kind of gonna merge in years, but like I have a hard time trying to figure out why I don't like this movie as much as the other ones. I still don't know. It's really hard to determine because it's really fucking quality. Like the special effects are really, really
because
good.
it takes work to fucking watch, guys.
Yeah, maybe. But
I
like,
think I have more other reasons. I just don't feel
Okay.
as engaged with it. I think, again, like I said, I don't feel as engaged with the characters like I did the first two. And I think that's a diminishing return even. I think for some, even and maybe it's just because they were new characters to me, but I like their interactions and banter in the first film even better.
were you sick of the characters in the third Lord of the Rings, John?
Oh, yeah. I know.
What? Were you?
That's a whole different. Well, I was sick of
just
the
saying, it's
camera
not
just
because-
lingering on people's faces all the time. That's sort of like eventually like wore me out.
But yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, we're looking at him. We see him. All right, let's move on.
But that was okay. That was like the very end. I'm just saying, like, I don't think this is how I compare these movies, because I feel like I am getting sick of the characters in this movie, but I don't think it's the fact that having 3 movies about the same characters is automatically too much.
I feel like they became somehow less 3-dimensional as the series goes on.
100%,
I think
100%.
Luke is like just sort of like, oh, he's this noble warrior now, and it's just
Luke, dude.
it's
So
just like
Luke is the best part of the movie, I think.
Luke just never gets laid. I was watching the fucking movie and I'm like thinking to myself, like, dude, the whole microcosm to him being such a stickler is because he never gets fucked. In fact, the one woman he likes, it's his fucking
It's
sister.
his sister.
Like, if you're not swearing away sex at that point, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
DC, did you know that going into this one?
No, I
Was that
didn't.
a
No, I didn't.
surprise
But
to you?
I did correlate
That's why
well
the
with like,
bridge
hey, I
scene
don't
was
have
so
sex
big.
either, bud. I'm
was
a
a big
fucking pain in the ass because I never get laid, right? Like ever. Like I don't hang out with women for some reason. I don't get it. But I was like sitting there watching Luke. I'm like, dude, you just need to get fucking laid. It's like George Costanza, right? Like he doesn't get laid. He has that girlfriend. She's got like some kind of cancer or something. So he like only studies. And he becomes like a genius in molecular biology. And then the next scene is him showing up to Jerry's fucking show with little antlers go, and Jerry goes, oh no, you had sex. You had sex. What are you doing? Right? Like Luke Skywalker's character is just not getting laid. We just watched it in Hotel Mumbai, right? Like she hasn't had sex in most of 10 years, right? It's the same thing. Luke Skywalker's whole fucking life is uncomfortable.
I was wondering
period.
if you were going to merge the Hotel Mumbai movie with the Star Wars
Well, there
movies.
we
You
go.
just did it, dude. Good for
It is
you.
something we should try to do. We have to draw some parallel between the last movie we watched and this
I'm
one. So
being
well done.
positive, guys.
Yes, well done. So anyway, I think that I think you're right to say I'm like, I don't think I'm feeling like I'm getting sick of the characters, but I'm feeling I think they're portrayed weaker and weaker as time goes on. In terms
that's
of
not what I was saying.
dimensional and interacting with each other. But that's the way I feel.
That's not what I was
So
saying, because I
I
am
don't
getting
care
sick
what
of
you're
the
saying.
characters.
I'm talking about what I'm saying.
But you just said you just spoke for me.
I mean,
That's
John,
not what I'm trying to
that was
say.
intense.
Well then.
I'm just an audience member now, and that was great.
I am getting
Yeah,
sick of the
okay.
characters because of the way they're written and portrayed in this movie. The only good character I think in this movie is Luke in the Emperor. I think Darth Vader doesn't make he's different in this movie, which I don't like a lot.
I do.
Han Solo I think is the worst character in this movie, which sucks for me
But
because
they
I
needed
love
to
Han
make
Solo.
him shitty in order to make the other ones seem amazing.
No, but they didn't have to do that before.
Well,
They
I
did.
just think they didn't know what to do with
before
him
because the resolve wasn't happening
Yeah.
then, Denny.
Well, and
I
it's
don't
hard.
know.
It's
they
hard
could have done it
because
differently.
built-
I think I just think it's hard to know.
there's sorry, John, I know I'm interrupting you, but there is something to be said about a character arc that happens in a specific movie based on a trilogy. If he's got all these fucking things in his head and he's building these things out, one character moves up in one movie and then he takes his back seat to the other in the next movie. That's how I saw this being. Like, it was a joke in comparison to the other movies for Han Solo. Han Solo was a different.
Yeah.
And
well,
it was,
I think
it was
too,
because they need to leave the dynamic range for the fucking that last.
Well, I also think that like Han and Ford was right about this too. I think like once Han becomes like an overall good guy and he's past that roguish sort of thing, he's kind of got nothing left.
He's got nothing.
That's true.
Nothing.
And so, right.
And he has no badass attitude. All he does is heroic action bullshit, which is not associated with character, and then also complain about Leia's relationship with Luke.
Right.
That's
right.
it.
Like,
Can we
I think the Ford's point.
also just say he's getting laid?
Yeah. Well, that makes him boring. But yeah. But Harrison's point is this: like he's like, look, I got no mother, I've got no father. Just kill me. Just let me go out in some blaze of glory.
Like, no, don't kill you. I need to get fucked first.
That's the way to end his character, and that makes sense. That's like there you go. You turn. That's like he's done. His job is.
But then he
done.
read the script and then he saw
John,
the paycheck and he was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, he's
John,
fine.
Danny,
Okay.
this is the best part about this whole thing is I'm finally understanding why there are so many arguments that I've heard. Like, you could argue about this shit.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Definitely.
amazing
And
that
like-
it does that.
No.
It's
And
amazing.
like, I'd always hear these arguments and be like, you fucking dweebs. I'm fucking
Right.
never watching that movie.
Like Brad,
Sound is the best.
like-
You know, the whole thing. And then
Oh, go
I
on.
can see why, like, the three of us are arguing in like multiple different tangents now, and the way that we think about like, because what I'm hearing John say is not what I'm thinking, and what you're hearing is not what he's thinking, and it's like now I get. That's why this fucking movie is so good.
It is.
Is it creates this?
Yep.
This is something to be had. Like, this is what fucking physics did when they first figured that out. This is what like this. That's how important this fucking movie is. Like, you could argue this shit ad nauseum, and it would never get old.
And it's kind of fun. I'm having a really good time. I fucking love this.
Guys, I was gonna die never watching Star Wars. I'm a full-fledged fan now, thanks to you two.
Stay only with the original trilogy. TC.
I know I interrupted.
So John, continue with.
I want to continue TC's point because I just while he's there, like Brad Bird writes the introduction to the making of the Return of the Jedi film book, and he says this exact same thing because he
Bird,
actually has
to people who don't know who Brad Bird is.
Director of what? Finding Nemo,
The Incredibles, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's a Pixar director.
Pixar guy.
He's a hugger. He's a hugger.
No, he's not. Not Brad
no,
Bird.
no.
Not
No,
him.
no,
He's
that's
still
Pixar.
hired. He's still
Plan.
employed by Pixar, I think.
Oh, yeah. Right.
That was
Anyway,
Lassiter is
yeah,
the
yeah.
hugger.
These genitals haven't touched other genitals. What do you
No,
know?
he's not just the hugger. But yeah, Ratatouille, Iron Giant,
Ratatouille.
Incredibles.
I loved Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I loved Ratatouille. I'm not gonna lie. I loved Ratatouille. Sorry, I'm diverting your fucking.
No. Anyway, so he just said like he says some really wonderful stuff, which I can get into more in trivia. But he also says, and he criticizes Return of the Jedi, and he says, yeah, but to quote him here in the prelude, he says, because for some reason, he says, I have clearly spent more time thinking about the Star Wars films than any other films I haven't myself directed. Why is that? Because for some reason, I and multitudes of other film goers really care about this universe. For those of us who remember a world before Star Wars and the many imitators in its wake, we care to a ridiculous extent. I've seen grown people, talented, smart professionals raising their voices and getting red-faced over their Star Wars disagreements after a few too many beers. I may even admit to joining those shameful
Here was the red-faced part.
discussions. Right?
That's hilarious.
I mean, I think he's
is that it? I missed the last part there. Oh, I listened.
yeah.
To that.
He just said I may even admit to joining those shameful ultra geeky discussions.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's
dude.
true.
Yeah,
It is. It's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
And they're not
So
actually very geeky. They're like
it's such
they're
a solid
resonating
foundation.
with something that is the foundation of all media now. That's the difference. It's not like we're talking about something that's irrelevant. We're talking about something that crafted what we know of in sci-fi and any sort of drama-based science fiction
Like
world.
And
action
we're
types
gonna
of things.
see something really soon, and we're definitely gonna do this movie on the podcast. The new Dune movie by Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
That book is as world building, if not more than this movie, but it does it in a totally different way, and it's not as easy to get into, in my opinion. But
It's not. because I have even less of a fucking
But I mean, it's
want to
the way
even
he
watch
does
that
it
one.
in these movies is super accessible. Like it's insane how accessible these movies are. To the point where everybody is a sci-fi fan. They weren't a sci-fi fan, and he created the world of sci-fi fans.
So you're
from the
saying they
first
get a bad
movie.
rap because of the sci-fi tag, and that's it.
I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, on Amazon they group sci-fi and horror together. Like, why would you group those together? They're not the same type of movies. They're just like, oh, these are for the weirdos who like make believe stories. And you're like,
You got your monsters and you got your spaceships.
yeah, like they're not
They're
even
not-
close to the same.
Trust me, it's not.
unless
we
it's
don't
alien.
want-
Unless it's alien.
not because we don't want to make the right MEC genre to be the right. It's just because we
I'm
have.
not
system-
talking about Amazon, TC. I'm talking about Amazon. Is what I'm talking about.
All right.
It's
All right,
system.
let's finish.
Wait,
Trust
so
me,
can
here's
I
the
can I
thing.
review it? A little
Wait.
bit?
I think I'm there. I think
So
I think
wait,
I've
so
said
John-
just about everything I wanted to say. So yeah.
Do you want to end it on like a really strong note, like some fucking impersonate Ben Kenobi or something like that?
No, I don't really want to do that. No,
Okay.
no. There's no. You just also like made me feel bad because I can't do it. So thanks for setting me up.
I can't
to
do
let
it
me
either,
fall.
John.
no,
Nobody
yeah,
can.
like you made me feel bad. Now I'm a fucking like now I have something.
Now we're all feeling like shit.
I have
Thanks,
something
Jenny.
to bring up on fucking
That's
Monday.
what I'm good for, man. I'm
I
good
got
for
something to
that.
bring up. Hey guys, you guys know this is a problem. That there's people out there that are thinking this shit about our fucking genre.
I love that too. Well, I'd just rather start ending meetings that way. So George, you got something to say to like end this on a high note?
No, I don't. I have
No?
No, and I
No?
can't.
All right,
And now
well,
I feel like a
I
piece
guess
of
we'll just
shit.
go then. I guess we'll go then.
No,
All right,
thanks
we'll
for
see y'all
asking. Now I
next
feel horrible.
Yeah. No, I don't. I know. This is just a fucking meeting. No.
All I want to say in this movie, in my review, is that I think it has at least two of possibly the best scenes in the entire series in it, and that makes it the most confusing of all of it because like
Fight
a lot.
So the
So
sword
I
fight is
think
interchase.
What are you saying? What are the
the
scenes?
the
What are
action
scenes?
scene at the Sarlacc pit is
Okay.
is one of the
That's
best
a badass
fucking
scene.
action
That's a
scenes I've
badass
ever seen.
scene. Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
the best scene in the series possibly is the land speeder chase in the fucking redwood forest where they're
Really?
zipping through. Oh, that's
I
why
mean,
I love that.
you mean with the little people?
No. Before that, one like
So
the
the spike.
early
when Han
early
tries
one.
to
Okay.
sneak up on a stormtrooper and he
yes,
steps on a
yes,
stick,
yes,
and then one of them
yes.
hops away, and Luke and Leia have to get on the same land speeder,
I know
and they
what
end
you're
up like hijacking one of them. That scene is
really cool.
insanely good. It is so intense.
And it's believable.
Yeah, it's so believable.
It's
There's
believable.
no music. The sound effects are amazing. The editing is amazing. The action is so fucking good. It looks
And it worked
it looks
for being
pretty
creative.
real.
That does look
Especially
really-
learning how to like how they actually filmed it. I get a lot of trivia on that, and it's pretty crazy how simple, quote unquote, it was to film. But that action scene, I mean, that in terms of action scenes in the movie, it takes the cake, in my opinion. It gets my heart racing every
Better than
time.
Fury Road.
No, I just mean in terms of the Star Wars series.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Stop correlating this to
Fury
other
Road
things, John.
Wins,
The
dude.
room is
Yeah,
not
I
the
was gonna
best
say,
Fury
movie
Road
ever,
wins.
I
okay?
wanted to check.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
No,
check.
I'm still of the opinion that Fury Road has the best action in movies ever.
Okay.
Thanks for checking though, John.
I just,
But
Hey, it's better than interrupting like I do, right?
yeah, but not to repeat myself,
I
like
did interrupt.
a lot of the characters just die in this movie. Is there a good moment between C3PO and R2D2 in this movie? Is there one? Can you name
No,
one?
There's not.
That's
There's
what I
not.
say when I get about like the character interactions. They're not there as much.
No,
it seems,
they're
right?
not.
So,
But that's
R2D2
because,
is
like,
such a loyal robot through the second movie. And in this one, he's useless. He's a useless piece
But
of
it's
shit in this
because their
movie.
character development isn't
he gives
the one
Luke the
that's supposed to be
lightsaber right at the front,
fruition.
and then that's about it.
not.
Like, yeah.
The story has its character development ending in those other movies.
That's
Period.
right. Yeah, should just blown them all. R2, C3PO, and Han should have all gone on the suicide mission.
No,
And got
but
all blown up
you
together.
guys remember this with making the record, right? Like you can't have everything be the same level at all times. You have to have things be focused. And that's the same thing with characters.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it could be worse. I guess it could be like Temple of Doom worse. Like it's not as bad as Temple of Doom was in the Indiana Jones franchise to me. I still like watching this movie.
First of all, I have no context into that. What is
Okay.
the difference?
So Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the best movies ever made.
Okay.
We
here go.
watched The Last Crusade. I love that movie. Temple of Doom, I could never watch it again, and I'd be happy. That'd be fine.
Yeah,
But
I think
giving
Kingdom
you
of
so
the
much
Crystal
shit right
Skull
now.
might have been worse than Temple of Doom.
It totally was. Holy crap.
Yeah, so
That movie
yeah.
was so bad.
Anyway.
But like, I'm going to watch Return of the Jedi again. I'm definitely going to show this trilogy is worth watching all the way through.
Oh, no, I agree. I like earlier to my point, this as a set, this still works.
Yeah.
I think, even though we can start nitpicking the third one, especially.
We started nitpicking 200 and something episodes ago when we started this podcast.
Just call us that.
Let's start now, huh? We've never done it before.
I don't agree with your
right.
opinions.
Haven't complained about something that somebody spent hours and years of their lives on.
I don't do anything but go to work every day. But you know what? I know more than you do. That type of shit.
All right, so before we end this episode, and I know you guys love this shit, I got some questions on this movie before we go to trivia.
Okay.
So people listening, we're going to have another episode. There's going to be a shit ton of trivia. Episode 2 of this
you
one.
want to take just a break real quick before we do questions?
These are going to be
You're
quick.
about to make me work.
These are going to be quick.
I want to go. Yeah, I want to take a break before you ask me
These are
questions.
going to be less than 5 minutes, John, for sure.
Are you sure?
And then we're going to go into trivia.
All right, because every time we
break.
talk now, we spin out of control.
That's true. I have very little of these.
I do. I'll show
no,
you.
TC. This
shut
is
up,
all
TC.
of us. So it's good.
TC, shut up. I'm going to point at you with my pen. Shut up, TC.
Yeah, I'm going to shut up.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
So
serious.
there are parts in this movie that kind of break the logic of the other movies. C-3PO doesn't know many creatures' languages in this movie, which has never happened before in the other two. He's supposed to be a language robot. That's fucking
Or does
stupid.
he doesn't know? I thought he was like translating for Jabba. Which language didn't he understand?
He didn't understand some of the other robots' languages. There were some like the pigs, I think. He was interpreting in the Ewoks. He didn't know the Ewoks language either.
Oh.
He was like,
I thought he was like
I thought he had like a 60% understanding.
Yeah, 60%. But he's a fucking language robot. He's a robot.
Dude, I took Spanish for 4 years. I know about 10%.
He's a robot. I don't know.
Yeah.
That doesn't make very much sense to
It
me.
didn't bother me too much.
Jabba's palace was on
what's worse is
Tatooine.
that I'm comparing myself to a robot that should know everything that doesn't. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
John, Jabba's palace was on Tatooine.
That's like a weird coincidence. Like, why?
Right?
Why is it out of all the planets in the world, it's just another
Ben Kenobi, Luke Skywalker,
Right.
and Jabba the Hutt are all on
They all
Tatooine.
should have known, and they all should have known exactly who Jabba was. And besides, while we're on the topic of Jabba, how does this big fat lizard get to be so powerful? He's got to just have gotten it from his dad or something, because he couldn't like move to save his own life.
He must have gotten it from his dad. He probably had a few failed businesses. He was probably a real piece of shit.
Clap. Because I thought the same fucking thing.
That's
Who is this
funny.
asshole? Who is this asshole who's got all this power? He looks like a fucking.
He can't barely move.
Oh God, that's funny. Okay,
I love
moving
it.
on.
I love it, John. John, I'm so glad you brought that up because I thought the same fucking thing. Anyway,
Why did Jabba let them unfreeze Han?
he's
I think it's like he was waiting for the moment. Maybe he's like, well, now we're just gonna. He just wanted to.
You can't bullshit your way out of the question, John. There's no answer. It's a stupid thing that
No, he's
Jabba's
cocky.
right behind the
Right.
curtain.
He could have stopped them. He was there. He knew they were there. They were all watching.
He had
so,
no
like,
interest in
clear.
capturing Luke or Leia. He just wanted Han to be there to scare other people away from not paying him. So
Yep.
why would he ever let them unfreeze him? It
I
doesn't
know.
make any fucking
he
sense.
thought that he would just
it
beat them
doesn't.
to a pulp and then refreeze.
Oh well, no, because you don't go and free somebody. That's like they'd have to special process there. They'd have to take him back to Cloud City or whatever. Who
That's at
knows?
least $10,000.
But Jabba, it's nothing. I don't know.
And you can't
It's
double
like-
freeze someone, man. Their heart can't take that shit. It's fucking
I
rough
don't know.
on
It's
someone.
Fucking who? Yeah, you're right. Okay, I see where you guys are heading now.
You sort of
Makes-
argue that. I mean,
This
if
is
the
sad.
movie made it look like they didn't realize it until after they'd unfrozen him to stop them, but no, the way the door opens is like they were all there waiting and watching.
Like they already had a protocol.
Yeah, they
An
already
SOP in
were up,
place,
set up to laugh at them.
That's so true, John. They did. They seemed like they were a well-oiled machine. They knew
Yeah.
exactly what they needed to do. Yeah.
So this is probably a fun piece of trivia for everyone. Yoda said in Empire that he has been a teacher for 600 years. And in this movie, he said he is over 900 years old. So that means he had 300 years of his life where he wasn't a teacher. He's probably just murdering fucking Sith or whatever.
No, what he was doing is he was listening to this podcast. It took him that
I don't
long.
know. I mean, this is like a second career for him. Maybe he was like, a used car dealer or something and just sort of like,
Got a Cadillac, you can't
mean,
deny.
yeah.
Everyone's talking at me. I can't hear what they're saying.
This is
just
stupid,
driving
and you guys
around
are
in
going to be mad at me
John
for
Boyd's car.
picking up on this. But if you look at a lot of the stars and a lot of the windows, the stars are rotating. Why would the ships be rotating in space? There's no point for them to be rotating in space.
To generate artificial gravity?
All right, listen,
They don't
engineer.
rotate as
Nobody
fast.
in the world.
None of the
is an
ships,
engineer
you
who
never
would
see
think
the
a thought
ships
about that.
rotating like in 2001.
Because you know what it does?
no,
Danny,
I know.
it keeps your eye
Every
moving.
scene,
That's it.
John.
That's
Every
it. It
scene.
keeps
Every
your
scene, they're all
eye
rotating.
moving. It
If you're
not bored.
you mean they're like
If you have a ship
banking
that
or
doesn't
something
move,
like that?
you're
no,
gonna be
they're
happy
like
to watch
moving.
that.
They're moving across in like a clockwise type of
I see.
fashion.
But notice they do that in Star Trek too.
No, it looks good, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense.
I don't
That's all
care.
I'm saying.
The stars,
Just point it
they're
out.
pretty. It reminds me they're in
Engineer. You're an
space and they're
engineer.
moving around. I'm happy.
Here's a real question to abilities in this movie. So there's a scene, first of all, where Darth Vader senses Luke in a spaceship, knows it, and lets them go to the moon.
The moon, right?
Why did he let them do that? Why didn't he just
They need to how would they capture him? But
They could have intercepted the
Granular into the
spaceship.
story.
could they track? They'd have to tractor beam him or something. I
Yeah,
don't know if
they've
had
done that
available.
before. They've done that
I
before.
know they have. Yeah, they have. But I don't know if you. Yeah, that would seem to be the thing to do. But no,
it seemed like Darth Vader was just
yeah.
like, let's see what he does down there. And you're like,
Right.
dude, why? No, they're against you. They're fighting a battle. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
What is
shield
the reason for
generators
this?
down there. Obviously, they're going down there
Yeah.
to just shield out. You know,
But
what else would they be doing?
that's one thing. But also, there's a scene where like the Emperor is there, and Darth Vader's like, I sense Luke in the ship, and the Emperor's like, I can't sense him.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be like more powerful than Darth Vader? Why can't you sense?
There was one of the. I didn't take notes on this one, but there was speculation on Lucas's part that that was part of Ben Kenobi's power. That since he was in this other realm now, that he actually could block and sort of like start to nullify some of the Emperor's power, but he couldn't block Vader's because Vader's connection with Luke was too strong because they're father-son.
Okay, so that might answer my other question, which is why when Darth Vader picks the Emperor up and throws him off the edge, how the Emperor couldn't like feel
Foresee
that
it, right.
coming.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so maybe that was Ben too,
You
I
guys
guess.
fucking wonder why I never wanted to watch this fucking.
You don't want to give your opinion on this shit?
I'm
They're- and
hearing
again,
this
this
shit
is-
right now,
yeah.
being like, you guys thought
No,
about
the
this?
movie-
Oh,
The movie
Jesus
doesn't say
Christ.
any of this stuff. There was a lot of speculation about how Ben was doing a lot of behind the scenes work to make it so the Emperor was less powerful. But yeah, that never comes out in the final script.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to mention was, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
do it.
that's it.
What's that?
In terms of questions, that's it. Are you guys
Okay.
ready to take a break
Yes.
in this epic episode and get a beer?
Yes.
Sure.
Please. Yeah, and pause
Yeah.
your recording.
Hey,
so that we-
Terrence, maybe take a break, breathe
Yeah.
some air. You know, you
Yeah.
gotta do that.
Stop
You have
and
to
save
breathe
your
there.
recording.
Yep.
I'm stopping
Yep.
now.
So, hey,
Okay.
everyone listening, next week we'll talk to you about trivia. It'll be a very long and good one. And
And don't worry, there won't be anything about sound in it.
no, nothing at all.
Yeah, there will.
Are you kidding?
No, just kidding.
No, there will. It'll come
It'll
up
be a-
again.
it'll be a
will come
ton.
again. Yeah.
I'm being negative. Let me be negative.
Okay, be negative. It's okay.
Timmy, you got to say something. What do you think about Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, fucking, Larry Raby told me once I don't hear shit. You know.
Okay.
Stop 'em.